All right, good evening, guys. Welcome to this session on how MBA can help your career exponentially. We have a very strong panel with us today. I will introduce you to the panel, but before that, it's 6:02. We will wait for 3 minutes for people to join us, and we will start the discussion at 6:05. All right, good evening, guys. My name is Vishal Singla. Welcome to this session. How MBA can exponentially help you to grow your career. We have as I mentioned, a strong panel today. We have Anchal and Ekta from ISB, and we have Ankur Madan from IMC. Uh, these three people come with a good experience of 5 years before their MBA, and post their MBA also they have experience of at least 1 year. So the idea of today's session is to help us understand what you can expect at the MBA college, how MBA college can definitely help you to maybe grow your career. Now we are in a very uncertain period wherein there's a lot of uncertainty about the overall economy, job prospect, and your current job as well. So at this stage, many times people are worried whether they will be able to get the kind of growth that they were expecting few years back in their job, whether that growth trajectory will be continuing. So there is a lot of fear, there is a lot of anxiety, nervousness among the in the mind of people. At the same time, many people are using COVID as an opportunity to rescale themselves. They are of the thought process at this stage, most likely I will not get the growth that I normally expect at my job. So is it a right time for me to reskill myself and then better prepared for the job market? That choice can be very personal, okay, but the idea of bringing these three professionals here is to understand from them how MBA from leading B schools like ISB or IIM-C has helped in their career path, what are key takeaways that we can gain from them, and accordingly we will keep it open for the discussion as well. So the idea is I will request panelists to introduce themselves, and then we will go to each one of these panelists to understand their view about their journey, and post that we will keep it open for questions. Some ground rules. We will not be able to entertain any question during the presentation part. So keep your questions with you. Whenever you have your questions ready, please post your questions in the Q&A tab. If you look at the bottom here, on the bottom there is a tab Q&A. Please post your questions in the Q&A tab only. We are happy to answer your questions, and in case you have a question, let's say specific for Anchal or Ankur or Ekta, after you have heard about their story, please write it that this question is for a specific individual so that we can direct that question to the right person. So I look forward to this session. So I'd like to first go to all three of them to provide their basically quick introduction. Maybe we can start with Anchal. Anchal, please unmute yourself and share.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is Achal. I completed my MBA from ISB in 2019. I'm working with Amazon right now and based out of Hyderabad.
Perfect. Thank you. Can we have Ankur next, please?
Sure. Hi everyone, good evening. This is Ankur Madan. I have done my BTech from NIT Kushetra. Thereafter worked for 5 years as a software engineer. Then did my MBA in 2019 from IIM Calcutta. After that, I'm working with McKinsey as a product manager.
Thanks, Ankur. Can we have Ekta in, please?
Hi everyone, this is Ekta Vaswani. So I was a software engineer before my MBA. I have 5.5 years of work ex before pre-MBA. Then I did my MBA from ISB, and now I work at Amazon as a product manager.
Thanks, Ekta. So guys, I mean, I operate out of Gurgaon, and there are a lot of queries that always come my way from the people who have normally 5 to 7 years of experience, and that experience is mainly in the IT or IT-enabled services. And these people many times feel that they are getting limited career growth opportunities within the organization or within the industry. So at that point of time, they want to reskill themselves. But definitely, some of them do not have sufficient content, sufficient exposure as part of their profile. So I would request Anchal, Ankur, and Ekta to also talk about, once you have this place, how the important is the profile, and in order to show yourself different from the larger pool, anything that you did that helped you to stand apart from others. Because I believe ISB is one of the leading college and get, I think, maximum number of applications across the globe under GMAT, right? So out of that large pool of application, how you were able to stand yourself apart and showcase, okay, that you are the right candidate for ISB. With this note, maybe we can start with Anchal. So Anchal, please do share your journey with us. And definitely at the end, in case we have any open questions, we would like you to address those questions. Please go ahead, Anchal.
Thank you, sir. So I'll share my screen as well. I'm a computer science engineer, and I did my engineering in 2012. And thereafter, I joined Ericsson as a system engineer. Within just few months with working with Ericsson, I was pretty convinced that I cannot do my best if I will be involved in the computer science field itself. Having said so, I was not that much interested in coding or any any such area. So I didn't see myself growing there. In Ericsson, then I was presented with an opportunity to switch to project management, and I quickly grabbed it. So I changed my path from there. I moved to project management, and I worked with Ericsson for almost 5.5 years. And during my entire experience with Ericsson, I had been an operations manager. I had also been a transition manager, where I led projects which included transitioning the whole teams from one company to other, basically insourcing the things that we had outsourced to companies like TCS, IBM, etc. I also gained opportunity to work in the product management domain, and out of all the things that I was doing in Ericsson, I was mostly fascinated by program and product management. And while I tried to explore better opportunities in this area, I also started to realize that I do not have the required experience right now to excel in this domain. The opportunities that I was getting were not as per what I wanted to do. So in between these 5 years, I decided that doing an MBA will provide me with the right knowledge, as well as with the right competencies, so that I can move to the areas where I want to move. And during that time itself, I started to prepare. I think I started the journey around 2015, when I prepared for GMAT, but I was too scared to take the GMAT, so I just left it. I again picked it up in 2016, and again I was too scared to take the exam, and I just left it. And then I heard about Jamboree, and I decided to join Jamboree. I had consultation sessions with the Jamboree faculty, especially Vishal sir here, and then after Jamboree, I had the confidence that I can go ahead and take the test. I took the test, and my first attempt did not go well as I had planned for. I again took the test, and the second time was actually more than what I was expecting. The score was really good, and I was pretty happy that I was able to score that much. And after I got the score, I was even more convinced that I should certainly go for an MBA. And I started to apply to different colleges across the globe. My preference was India only, but in India there were not many options regarding what I wanted. So I also looked at colleges in US and in EU. After all my research, I finally decided to go to ISB. And once I was in ISB, it was a different world altogether. My very first day, as I remember, was extremely overwhelming. There were students all across the globe. The students which join ISB program have diverse backgrounds. They come with their own diverse experiences, and professional as well as personal experiences. And once the classes started at ISB, I could not have been more happier with my decision to join ISB, since I saw the level of education I was being provided in ISB. The professors the professors flew across the globe, and they do not only have experience in the teaching domain, but most of the professors at ISB that teach us also work with big companies in various domains. So that helped us not to just gain the knowledge that is already written in their notes, but also what they can tell us from their experiences, so that we always get a touch of practical environment. During my entire year at ISB, I have studied about the subjects that I never thought I will study about. I did not know anything about finance. I got an opportunity to study finance in detail. I studied about marketing, about operations, and you are exposed to so many things in an MBA that really opens up your mind, as well as provides you with multiple opportunities to choose whatever you want to do in your life after ISB. So every day ISB was different for me. It was a different struggle, and it was a good struggle rather, not a different struggle. I pushed myself every day to be a better version of myself. I talked to more than 600 people in ISB during my year and built a very strong network. And this network is not just from my peers, but also the alum network. In an MBA, your alum plays a very big role in shaping your entire professional journey. And I was given an opportunity to talk to any of, to actually multiple alums. I reached out to a lot of alums about how their life is after ISB, so that when I will be provided with an opportunity to choose my profession, I'll be better prepared. So it certainly did help me to build a very strong network. And then towards the end of ISB, we had our placement sessions where multiple companies came to our campus, and we went through multiple round of interviews, and after all of that I decided to go with Amazon as a program manager. I'm still with Amazon as a program manager, and I'm glad that I went to ISB, and now I joined Amazon. Amazon is follows a culture of day one, so you're always learning in Amazon. That doesn't stop, and it as a company, it's a big giant. So you will learn about too many things that is going on in the entire industry, and not just only in one domain, from AWS to the Amazon website, from where I am sure we all shop from, and to groceries and whatnot. And there are a lot of experiments that Amazon keep on doing. It doesn't hold you back in what you want to do, and it actually pushes you to be more innovative and more experimental, in a sense. Whatever you want to do, you can do there. So during this entire 6-7 years, I've gone through lots of ups and downs. At times I was very sure I want to go for an MBA. At times I was extremely confused whether this is going to be the right choice or not. But now, after having gone through ISB, completed my MBA, I know that I made a right choice. This is what I wanted to do. It helped me to get better opportunities. It helped me to build my confidence as well. It helped me to grow as a professional, at a personal level also. I'm a more aware individual now. So I think that's it. But there's just one thing, that while the score that I got, or my education background was important, these days for MBA colleges, diversity is equally important. So it was equally important to stand out in the entire application, and not just stand out in as just in one part of it, meaning your scores or your prior academics. I was always involved in co-curricular activities, be it in my college, be it during my experience in Ericsson. I think that has really helped me to get acceptance, not just from ISB but from other colleges as well. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Anshul, for sharing this entire journey from graduation to present day. I think this was very useful, and I'm sure we will get multiple follow-up questions for which I'll get back to you. I've already got a couple of questions, but let's wait for other questions, and then we'll get back to you. Thank you very much indeed for sharing it. I also have a curiosity and couple of questions related to how alumni network actually works, what kind of support is provided. Because every year, if there are close to 900 students, then even though you don't know those people, but over a period of 5-10 years, you have a good big database, right? So how active are the alumni people are, and what sort of support they provide? I'm definitely interested in that. For you, and thank you very much for sharing this. Can we have Ankur, can you please share your journey? How was it for you doing MBA? Ankur, I think worked with Expedia for close to 5 years before going for MBA from IIM Kolkata. So please share, Ankur, your experience. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vishal sir. Let me start with the slide. Give me a moment. Yeah, hey everyone. So here I am to talk about my journey, and as the roadmap on your screen is reflecting, it is my journey from software engineering to product management. 2012, I completed my graduation from NIT Kushetra, started my job as a software developer in 2012 itself, worked as a software engineer for 5 years. There was always the MBA bug back in my mind that I want to do an MBA. When should I do it? What is the right time? And 2017 is finally I cracked the GMAT score. 2018 is when the MBA journey started for me, and it's 2019 that I'll be working as product manager at McKinsey. So we'll do a double click of all this journey. What was the up and down on all of this? Yeah. So let's talk about journey of cracking the admit at IIM-C, and then how the life was in initial days of MBA, right? So when I first started preparing for GMAT, I enrolled at classes at Jamboree, prepared for almost 4 months, given endless more. And then I was confident that it's the right time to give first attempt at GMAT, but I failed terribly. I don't know what was the reason for that. I was doing good in the course, but I failed terribly. And didn't sleep for the whole week after that. And I actually dropped the idea of doing an MBA because I thought it's not my cup of tea. I've already invested a lot of time on this and it's not working out. So probably I should leave it, right? But then after a week or so, I got some motivation from my family members. Vishal sir personally called me up saying that you have a good mock scores. It was just a matter of day. Why don't you reattempt GMAT? And I actually did that. And in my second attempt, I scored really well. And then I started with the application process at IIM-C. Even when I got the admit and I was about to land at the campus, I was still confused that at this stage of my life, should I do an MBA or not? Because I was 5 years into software management, I was doing pretty well, but then there was a glass ceiling. I was sure that if I continue doing software management, maybe I will excel in this, but is it my personal calling? Is it something I'm passionate about? Is it something that I want to do 10 years down the line? The answer was no. And hence I pursued and went ahead and landed into the campus. The day I landed into the campus, I was actually overwhelmed with the amount of diversity the people was there, the amount of work ethics they have, the knowledge they have. And I again starting out in my decision that this is very rigorous. Will I be able to do it? How will things work out for me and stuff like that? But after going through 15, 20 days at the campus, the mindset and the approach to look at the problem changed dramatically, right? So it was because of the interaction with alumni, interaction with professors, interaction with peers. When you are sitting in an MBA class with the best of the best professors teaching you, you realize that your mindset is getting shifted. And there are a lot of things. You were just just before MBA, you were focusing on 10% of the problem, but there was 90% of the problem, which was you don't even was aware about that is the problem exists. And this is the awareness which MBA brings you at the first place, right? Then once I get settled into the campus, how was the life from life at campus, preparing for placement, and then finally preparing for the interview at McKinsey, and then transitioning into the product management, right? So it was fun. First of all, there was, of course, rigorous assignments, case studies, quizzes, and whatnot. But there was also all-night sports event, Gyan as we call it, over midnight Maggie and tea, and fun of knowing the diverse and brilliant profile. And there are people coming from diverse background. They're speaking to you, telling you in a very candid way how their experience is, what their thought process is. Uh, of course, then there is a huge list of celebrations that we do. So if anyone gets placed, we celebrate as a whole community. We celebrate festivals and everything, right? So it was a great family environment. You don't feel that you are staying away from the family. You feel that you're staying with the family. And then you start doing interview process, placement process, which actually starts just in 30 days after you landed into the campus. So you get a lot of guidance in terms of from alumni on how to prepare your CV, how to do mock interviews. They also conduct multiple mock interviews with you. They prepare you well for the final interview that you want to do. And specifically for product management and management consulting profiles like all your MBB consulting, I would suggest you do a lot of peer-to-peer mock interviews. You practice case studies among peers. This helps a lot. It's a rigorous process, right? It's not like you will do 2 case practice and you will be into McKinsey. So you have to practice for at least a couple of months to get into there, but it's worth the effort. It's really worth the effort. And once I had the offer of McKinsey, then I landed into the product management role at McKinsey. How the life changed for me, right? While before MBA, I was doing software engineer. Now I'm doing product management. The MBA helped me to understand the virtue of the overall organization or the enterprise end to end. And when we talk about the value chain of everything, now when I solve the problem for end to end value chain. Whereas earlier, I was more focused on one piece of stuff that I was solving or one piece of problem that I was solving. It also gives you exposure to talk to multiple clients, multiple customers, and who not. Like, just to give you an instance, in last 1 month, I have interacted with 10 CXOs, 200 customers. I don't know how many meetings I have done with thousands plus audience, right? You will also be having a more responsibility in terms of success and practical success of the product itself. And of course, you will have a very limited authority being a product manager. So you should also learn the ability to influence others, ability to lead others without having the authority, so to speak. Yeah. So overall, if I reflect back on my journey, I feel I did a really made a really great decision of doing an MBA. It has changed me or transformed me completely, and I really enjoyed the work that I am doing after doing an MBA. Yeah. Just as an end 2 minute thought, here is the fun part. I'm just sharing few glimpses of how journey at IMC was. It wasn't boring at all, as you can see in the picture. And of course, my contact details in case you still have questions which we can't resolve in the session. Feel free to reach out to me on this platform. Right? Hope you liked it. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed, Ankur, we liked it really, and you have summarized it really well. I think one of the important points that you touched upon is the insecurity, that nervousness that one has when you have decided, okay, that it's a time to move on, it's a time to quit job and start going for reskilling. I think that decision is always confusing. It doesn't matter where you are going, right? It doesn't matter what sort of prospect you have after that. As a human being, that kind of insecurity is always. There is one question also whether MBA from ISB justifies the 30 lakhs investment, whether one should go for that or not. I think I also encountered with this question multiple times. Again, at the end of the day, it's also a trade-off depending on your personal, professional, and financial commitments, whether it's a right decision for you. But again, the kind of exposure that MBA provide you over a longer duration, for example, if you are at the age bracket of 30 years, then you have minimum 30 years of productive work life. So don't look at it from the perspective of maybe half year, 1 year, 2 year. If you look at it at the 30-year perspective, I believe answer is definitely yes. But again, situations are different. There are some students who are clear on day one that they want to go for 100% loan and financial commitments with respect to family. we do discuss with students a lot about it and try to give the answer which is correct uh, because while giving the guidance, we have to ensure that we are not misguiding. Okay, I think that's the baseline. And if that baseline is clear, then organically you tend to give the right suggestion that eventually may turn up right or wrong, depends. But thank you, Ankur, for sharing your journey as well as for sharing the contact details so that if anyone has any follow-up question, they can definitely leverage this and connect with you. We will be putting this recording on the social media platforms, so people will do have access to it at the later stage as well. I'll come back to you, Ankur, with the questions. We are getting a good list of. We have 26 questions till now. I try to answer a couple of them in between. Now I would like to Ekta. Uh, Ekta worked with. Ekta had approximately 5 years of experience before MBA. She worked with Ericsson and NCR. Post MBA, she worked with the internal startup team at Reliance, and then she switched to Amazon. So, Ekta, please walk us through your MBA journey and everything. I mean, whatever you want to cover, whatever you believe can help the participants. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Hi everyone. I right now I work as a product manager with Amazon, and I started as a software engineer with Ericsson. I think so. When I was a software engineer, I was very good at it with whatever I did. So there was a quote that if something cannot be done, give it to her, she'll do it. So while I knew the engineering aspects of my work, I still wanted to be a decision maker in terms of the product that I'm building. And at that point of time, like now, a lot of startups have come up where from engineering, you can go into a management role. In Ericsson, what I saw was people go there with experience, and I will have to do MBA and I will have to do a lot of things to maybe go there. And I always wanted to do that. And I think the turning point of my career happened at Ericsson, where one of my projects went to the Mobile World Congress. And that was a big achievement for my team because they had never showcased it, for me because I did not even know what Mobile World Congress was. And everything was fine. Everything was going well. And I thought, I am okay. I will just continue my job and I'm happy with this role. And while mentally I always wanted to do an MBA, go into management, but then I was satisfied that maybe I don't want to do anything else. Then what happened was people around me started going to these colleges. My best friends, my own brother went to IMC, and they started telling me that, this is your only time where you can at least try something out. Like, don't, after 10 years, you won't even be able to say that, at least I tried. And they told me that, focus on this part. And while there was a lot of work that I had to do in my first job, they said, maybe you should switch your job at this point of time, but give it a shot, because we don't know what happens after 10 years and you might repent. So at that point, I decided that probably I'm not able to handle this work stress with my studies. I switched to another job where the requirement wasn't so much, that I wasn't required to work weekends or long nights, and I can focus on my GMAT studies. However, that being said, I was always very cautious of the fact that a lot of software engineers apply and I might get rejected. So I don't want to show my profile as, she switched because she wanted to study. So I ensured in the new role that I went, I said, I want to do something out of the box. And I took an inspiration from my past work, and I was like, hey, probably, although they both were different domains. Ericsson is telecom and NCR Corporation deals with all your financial transactions that happen. And I said, probably I can replicate some form of that thing here. And I got the opportunity. I got the very right opportunities. And I was like, okay, go ahead. If you're able to build it, you won't get a team. If you're able to code and build it, we'll put that. And it worked. It saved a lot of dollars. It saved a lot of time for the team, and it came on my resume as well. So and I was very sure 1 year after 1 year that I spent in this organization, I will apply for my GMAT and I will start preparing. And I had given myself that 1 year, that this is the time that I have to make it big here, because I want some accomplishments in my profile. And after that 1 year, I started searching. That's when I came to Jamboree for my GMAT prep, and Vishal sir taught me maths. So yeah, that was my entire experience about building my resume. So I knew I knew I was going to make it. I knew I was going to be there. You have to have confidence in yourself, and before that, you have to do a lot of work on your profile. Also, I think while I was applying, I was very clear that it is only going to be product management. Like, a lot of people think that MBA is marketing. Once I do an MBA, I'll go into a marketing role. If you're going to ISB or any institute that looks at your past experience, you have to build a profile. You cannot say that, after I go to ISB, I'll go into marketing. No, you have to look at that and build your profile accordingly. If you want to go into marketing, switch to a marketing job. So this is something that I did even before I started GMAT prep. But everything was planned, and you have to plan it, because after you give your papers, you will start applying, and there'll be very less time, trust me, to work on. Then after that, what has been done, or you just sit with your score and then give another 2 years. So build your profile accordingly. And when it came to schools, I was very clear. I wanted to go to ISB. I did not want to go to any US school, because I think Trump was coming at that point of time. It was very unclear what would be the scenario for Indian students. And I took a bet. So basically, I remember I signed into a lot of portals. I had shortlisted top 30 USB schools. I entered my score, but I only applied to ISB, and ISB happened. I did not apply to any of them. I still remember after then, I think a week was left in their deadlines. They gave me a waivers on the application fees, seeing my score, but I did not want to go, because I knew that this is what I wanted and this is where I am. And then at ISB, the initial 3 months will be very grueling, especially if you are from a tech background, because the first 3 months are mostly about finance. I would say learn from your peers. That's what I tried to do. A very strong support that you get at ISB is from the alum community. I think if I made it to ISB, I got a lot of support from my alums. I reached out to them. I networked even before going to ISB. I networked with alums via LinkedIn. I saw alums who had very similar profiles. I was in constant touch with them. And during my low at ISB, I got a call from one of my alums like, how are you doing? And why did you not tell me that what is going on? And I was so surprised, because I did not expect the alum to be in touch with me. And the alum was like, I want to still help you out. And it just doesn't end here. Even when you need to be very clear. Even at ISB, what do you want to do? What are the companies that you want to target? So I knew I want to go into product management roles. I knew the firm that I wanted to target, and I accordingly reached out to those alums who helped me work on my resume. And they were like, hey, if you're targeting this firm, this is not how your resume should look like. You can write it like this. This is the impact that you need to bring out. So there's a lot of help that I got from alums. Unfortunately, the firm that I wanted to apply did not come for my role during my year. It was either a senior product management role or less than 3 years of work ex. Then I joined Reliance, and I worked with the chairman's office. So Reliance is trying to open up a lot of new businesses. Like every day we have GeoMart and something. So we were working on a B2B product, which will be rolled out soon. And so the good part about this business or this role was that I got to build something absolutely from scratch. The first day I meet my VP, he's telling me, go and find if we can open something in car sharing, and you give me mental model for that. So it was like 5 business. Every day was a new problem to solve, and then you finally say that, okay, fine, this is the business I want to work on. This is where your money will go, and this is how I'll build it. So Reliance was very challenging in that aspect. And then this helped me in moving to Amazon, which exactly was the company that I always wanted to go in, even during ISB. And again, it was a lot of support from my alums, because even at Amazon, it's very difficult to break. So Amazon is very leadership upwards. If you go in once, they will promote you, and a lot of talent is not taken from outside. But because of my alums and because of the network that they have, the first day I met my director, and he's like, we have really bright souls from ISB, and I hope you will be able to leverage that. So it's a lot of brand value that came with ISB. A lot of hard work of the alums has gone in making that brand value. And that actually helped me achieve what I always wanted to. So this was my journey, and yeah, I'll take more questions later.
Thanks, Ekta. I think Prashant selected a very good title for this. In the text, it was mentioned heart-to-heart conversation, and I think that's happening right now. Without any pre-decided agenda, we are clear, we are here to share our journey and want to understand what are the queries people have and happy to answer that. I think one of the important question which is asked by many, and if I'm right, I think MBA from ISB Mohali campus, if that is right, I'm not sure. Okay. So this question I also, and Anchal I think did from ISB Hyderabad. So this is a question I also encounter multiple times. Is there any difference between ISB, Mohali and Hyderabad campus? Because what I understand is with respect to faculty, placements, it's everything is same. But what is your take on this, Ekta?
So basically, I spent equal amount of time on both the campuses. I was at the Mohali campus, and then I moved to Hyderabad campus. So basically, you get an opportunity to go to the other campus. Either you can go international, or you can move to the other campus for a maximum 3-month period of time. And I chose to go to the Hyderabad campus, but my reasons were because before ISB even started, I had done a lot of networking with the people who were going to ISB, and most of my very good friends were in the other campus. So this was the only reason that I moved there. I moved there at a very crucial time, a 1 month before placements, where you would not want to move anywhere. But I was very sure that I have this network there that will help me, and I don't need to be stressed about anything else. Talking about the two campuses, Mohali is of course smaller, and Hyderabad is huge. But in terms of faculties, I think a lot of a lot of international faculty comes to Mohali because it's closer to Delhi, and Hyderabad over the years has developed their own in-house faculty. I cannot compare the two because both are definitely exceptional in their fields. Hyderabad also has a lot of international faculty, but that is something that I would not even want to compare. Placement opportunities, so it either happens at Hyderabad or at Mohali. The students are flown. You're not supposed to say which campus you're from on your resume. So this ensures that the person who's reading your resume has zero bias. So you are being selected only on the basis of what you have written. No one knows your campus, and you are not even allowed to put your CGPA. So it's absolutely your profile that will work to get you a shortlist there. So people really do not have this bias, and I think it will be really unfair to compare the two campuses. Another thing that I saw was that both the campuses are mirror images of each other in if you look at profiles. So if there's a dentist here, there will be a dentist there. They will ensure that both the campuses are very holistically filled, so that there is no difference, and at any point of time you may not feel that, because we are the sister campus or we came back later, probably so much attention is not being given to us. No, that is absolutely wrong. ISB does not do any such kind of thing.
I think that's totally in sync with my thoughts also, Ekta. When this year, as I mentioned, like 18 of our students from Gurgaon Center got ISB admit. So when I was interacting to them, this was the point that was coming very strongly, that there is nothing that it's more in the mind of students. I think 600 odd students are there in the Hyderabad campus, and around 280 to 90 students at Mohali campus. But overall, there is a lot of interaction. But if we talk about Anchal, the Hyderabad campus itself, there are 600 students. There's a question that whether you end up interacting, you mentioned you have interacted with a lot of those students, but what sort of infrastructure is or support system is provided by ISB so that you get to interact with all of those people, talking about the diversity in the campus, rather than having a group of maybe 20, 30 odd people with whom you are spending most of your time?
Yeah. So the very first day of ISB, and not just first day actually, The first week at ISB is designed in a way that you get to talk to, or you are forcefully asked to talk to a lot of people. There'll be a lot of activities where you'll be teamed up with different people. And those activities will be around you coordinating with them, around you getting to know them, around you bonding with them. So during that 1 week, you really get to know a lot of people, and then throughout your journey, if you really want to be in touch with them, you do keep in touch with them. And then secondly, the classes are also designed in a way, initially in the core terms, which are the first 3 terms, there'll be 60 people in every class, and you will be given a different seating arrangement for each of the class. So from there, you get to know about the people who are sitting next to each other. Even if you're not an extrovert, you will still talk to the people who are sitting near you. So that means you will end up knowing a lot of people from your class only. And then after the core terms have ended, you choose your own classes. And then there are different people who will join the classes as per their preferences. And there also you will again meet a lot of different people who will sit with you, and then you will eventually, whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, you will end up talking to a lot of people. Then later it's up to you whether you want to build a strong relationship with them or not. You can just talk to them within the class and just be done with it, or you can actually have a connection with them so that it goes it becomes a long term network and helps you thereafter. In ISB, they also make study groups, and later, after the first 3-4 terms, you yourself are asked to make study groups, and you end up doing a lot of assignments with your study group members. So that also helps you to talk to a lot of people and network with them. And then there are multiple social mixtures within ISB. So from all of this, by the end of the year, you would have talked to a lot of people, and it would have been up to you whether you want to be in touch with them or not. So that opportunity is given, choice is yours.
I think very well summarized. But as part of the DNA for the institute, I think they try their level best in order to make you interact. But definitely they cannot force you, right? So it's on the individual basis also whether someone wants to interact with other people or not. There are a lot of questions regarding the product management. So Ankur, in case you can pitch in here, people want to understand: is this right to say that engineering degree is needed to go into product management at the campus? What all activities you should do in order to show inclination to this? Anything specific, whether there is any need of engineering degree or anything specific that you need to do? Can you please share your experience?
Sure. So first of all, you don't need engineering degree to be a product manager. That's one. But if you do have engineering degree, that's advantage, right? But you can overcome that by doing other areas, right? So what does a product manager do? So product manager conceptualize the product and then ideate it. In a sense, you are a voice of customer in a room, right? So basically, whatever your users want, how do you prioritize those features? How do you make sure which feature should I put in first, which feature aligns with my company strategy and which is not? And then how do you design this feature? Of course you will have designer in your team, of course you will have engineers in your team, but you need to understand on a very high level, like how would this design look for my customer, how would this product looks like for my users, and how would engineering team capitalize it, right? So if I don't have any engineering knowledge, then probably I should read some books or talk to people who have engineering knowledge and get a very high level overview of what kind of IT software development you need to do. And that's about it. If you have that knowledge, that's the only knowledge that you need. If someone is coming from strong in-depth technical knowledge, he might not be having a good knowledge in finance, design, or marketing, but you might be having strong knowledge there. So you could use your spike there and have a little bit of manageable knowledge here. That's one. Then second, in terms of you at campus practicing product management, interviews or roles, it's very similar to consulting, right? So you do a lot of peer-to-peer interviews. That's one. you should read some of the books, and probably I'll post on LinkedIn about the list that you should read through. But that the one that is coming to my mind right now is The Things of Everyday Design. That's a really great book. Then there is a product management school website where you can refer and see what other product managers are doing. There are a lot of posting happening there. So basically interact with a lot of people, go and evaluate the product management resources. You will end up there.
All right. Thank you. Uh, Basically, there are a lot of people who have done, who are doing currently maybe the testing part of it or automation testing. Basically, they are into the software development life cycle at different roles. Ekta, according to you, what should they do specifically in order to enter into a product management role? Anything they can do in terms of building their profile well? Ekta, you need to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So one thing that they definitely should do is learning more about the business. Like if they're testing a specific product, why is it being built? What will be the impact? Who will be the users? They need to know the business, and only then a tester can, come and tell me, hey, probably this cannot be done like this. Like I've had instances in Amazon where the SDM was also not aware of things that the tester told me, and this shows your like how deep you are into the business, and this can actually help you. Like tomorrow if you say to your SDM, I want to move to an engineering role, this can help you keep that bricks that okay, this person is interested, and probably we can give them an SD role, or we can probably give them a TPM role to manage the projects because they know the business. And this is what will help you when you apply to ISB or any other B school, that what is the impact that you have created in your present role. The impact has to be big. Your role may be small, but you can definitely create big impacts, and that is only, I think, by knowing the business well.
Perfect. Thank you. We always say like there is a big pool of IT engineers applying for MBA college. What is your take on it? I mean, in order to differentiate yourself from others, what are the key activities they can highlight, or maybe is it only about getting a higher GMAT score that can come in terms of healthy in order to secure the admission? Anything else, Anshul? What do you think? Anything else one can do in order to showcase or highlight their profile in front of admission committee? And I've also heard like at ISB, first year current students also help in round of shortlisting. Is that true?
Yeah. So the first thing, what can people do to build their profile if they are coming from a background where a lot of people are coming from, like IT sector? Um, so one is, I think you should know, as Ekta said, the business impact, what you're doing, and that should be reflected through your resume also. Writing a line that you are a system engineer or you are an automation engineer is one thing, but writing how you have impacted the business in your resume makes a lot of difference. This shows that you know how you have contributed to the things that you're doing. Talking about the additional things that you can do to bring diversity in your resume, you can engage yourself in the CSR activities that might be going on in your own organizations. I did involve myself there. I was involved in a lot of employee entertainment and employee engagement activities, which I remember during my interview with ISB was extremely appreciated. So that is one thing. And third, you can also, there are a lot of people who start to build. Let's say you want to go into product management. There'll be a lot of people who will do different kind of courses on product management, or they'll start building some kind of framework for the products. So this shows that you are serious about something. This is an indirect signal to the college and later on to the companies. You can also do things like starting your own blog. which demonstrates or which includes the things that you're interested in, be it operations, be it marketing. So I've met a couple of people who are from finance background, and they are into product management. And while I interacted with them, they told me that before MBA itself, they started to work on their skills. A couple of them had their blogs already, and they had tried to gain the knowledge. So these are the things, and all, it's not just necessary to have anything else apart from what you have done till now. So that bringing diversity is of course good, but it's not necessary, I would say. Sometimes people do have a good GMAT score, and they have a good experience overall, and they get through. I know people who don't have that much of a good score, but their work experience overall is extremely diversified. So that also brings that also differentiates you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. In terms of financial part, many students have this question that one has to invest a good amount of money to go for MBA. And this is a decision which should be very thought after. So is it right to go for a 1 year MBA program compared to 2 years, if you want to compare between these two? Also, is it right to say that some of the packages reported by MBA colleges are inflated? So this is a question. I believe it is not, but because it goes through a lot of scrutiny. But what is your experience about this, Ankur? What do you think?
Yeah. So first of all, package are not inflated. It's the actual report that gets published. Uh, that's one. Then second thing is about financial. Do you want to do an MBA? What's the financial impact of it? See, it would be different for different person. There's no standardized answer for it. For example, if you are doing good in life, and by doing good, you are satisfied with your money, and you want to be earning in that much scale, and don't want to pressurize yourself in doing into rigorous 1 year course of MBA, then it's a personal call. But to just to give you some data, right? The people who have taken the risk of doing an 1 year MBA, no matter how much good they were doing before this, 80 to 90% of the people are satisfied with the amount they are earning 5 years down the line after the MBA. Right? So to see the impact of an MBA, you should compare your career 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line with MBA. If you compare right after MBA, does it make any significant impact? For some it may be, for some it may not be, depending on when you do the MBA. But I'm sure if you compare it over the period of time, MBA definitely impacts.
And what about comparison? Because at Iams, through GMAT, PGPX course is offered, which is a 1 year program. In comparison to PGDM, Ankur, what is your take? How different it is in terms of learning? And I do understand one advantage of PGPX is working professional don't want to invest 2 years in the MBA program, because that also leads to 1 year of losing the salary, right?
Yeah.
So that's also a cost attached to it. But what is your take on it?
Yeah.
Having studied in the campus where you have both the courses offered.
Absolutely. See, the thing is, for PGPX in IAMS, first you need a minimum of 5 years of work experience to apply for as eligibility criteria. So if you are having anything less than that, you don't have even an option to apply for 1 year, and you probably have to look for a 2 year program. The second thing is, since it's a 5 year work requirement, so most of your cohort people, like the average work of my class was 8.5 years, versus the average work of a class which will come in 2 year MBA would be roughly around 2 years. Right? So there's a difference in terms of peer to peer learning. Both of these courses are brilliant courses. Both of these courses will impact your career substantially. You cannot compare both of them, right? It's like comparing apple with oranges. But given where you stand in life, probably if you are having 8 years of work ex, I would recommend you should go for 1 year MBA, because you are already earning much, and you will also find a similar set of cohort with more work ex, with more job opportunities related to your career path. Whereas in 2-year MBA, if you are on a younger side of a thing, I would recommend that you should crack CAT and go for a 2-year MBA.
Right. So my follow-up question to you, Ankur, is given 8.5 years of average work experience, there are few participants having more than a decade of experience. So I'm sure you must be having similar kind of people as part of your classroom session, right? So what sort of profiles were offered to them? Uh, was something in the telecom or healthcare, in case you can provide some more info on that?
So absolutely. So there were, of course, people with 15 years and even 18 years of work experience, and there were people who were coming from senior leadership role and then wanted to do an MBA. There were 50% of the class which have come to the campus with their family, and they were staying in a family hostel. So all of these facilities to manage your family, to manage your day to day, all of this support will be provided. That's number one. So you should not worry about that. Second, in terms of career opportunity, so people who will have more number of year of experience, probably companies will look for you for a senior leadership role or for a little more hierarchy in terms of leadership role. Whereas if you have, let's say, 5 to 6 years of work, companies probably will look for middle management role, and then you do some more experience and grow into senior leadership role. So yes, absolutely, you will find better opportunities, but then there is a constraint, like you have to stay open-minded. You have to, so what happens usually with 12 years or 13 years of work ex, you stay confined that this is the knowledge that I have and this is probably the best answer that one could have. But you have to open up and think from different perspective. It gets difficult after certain experience that I felt. But if you can overcome that, I feel then it's a great opportunity.
Thanks, Ankur. I think very well summarized. Ekta, I also have a question, and this is specially tagged to you. What sort of profile a person having experience in the energy domain can expect after MBA from ISB? Do you have any background to that? If a person has work experience in the energy domain, what sort of profile, ISB can offer?
So it also depends on the role that the person was doing in the energy domain. If it was more of a project management or leadership roles, then the person will be open to a lot of opportunities that come in, because a lot of roles will come at managerial positions. But if it is very specific to something in that domain, there are a few firms that actually come for that domain. People have to wait for those firms because they are relatively smaller in number, and they actually take those people who have good domain knowledge. So you have to be patient, but yes, all kind of firms come.
Okay. Okay. Any particular name that comes to your mind right now? Because in the news articles we hear like are hundreds of companies that are visiting the campus. Any specific name?
I don't recollect a name right
Okay.
now, because I do not work in that domain, but I had friends from that domain who did get placed in companies specific to that domain.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me just look at some of the other questions. Uh, okay. There's a question for me. Can you suggest about how should one choose between IAMS or ISB? A person with more than 12 years of experience should go to ISB or IAMS for executive MBA. Uh, I, as I mentioned, the baseline is while guiding you, I should ensure that I am not misguiding you. After 12 years of experience, there is a lot of rigidity in the mind, as Ankur has also highlighted. So maybe how I go about it, I interact with the person on an individual basis, try to understand the aspiration. And frankly, I go to the company website or college website and try to understand whether companies from that domain are actually visiting the campus or not. Frankly, I suggest my students to connect with my admissions team or connect with the college directly to understand what sort of companies are coming, get the name of the companies or at least reference of the students who are placed from that campus in such companies. Connect with them. See, it's a big decision for you. It's not only about the financial investment you are going to make, but this name, whether it is ISB or IIM or for any college that matter, that will stay with you for your entire life. So I would say invest time, understand, connect with the people who have actually done that, and then take a conscious call. More than 12 years of experience or more than a decade of experience, frankly, to me, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many years, because it will keep on adding every year. Main thing is, if you are, let's say, from the healthcare industry, whether Dr. Reddy is visiting ISB or not. If Dr. Reddy having a headquarter and R&D center in that very city, they are not visiting the campus, then I have to be a little bit more skeptical and understand what sort of pharma companies are visiting here. If not pharma, what sort of consulting companies are visiting here? I will take decision when I am reasonably confident that the companies that I'm targeting will be available. Second, if those companies are not coming to the campus, whether they are open to hire people who have not opted for a placement. I think that's also something is very important. So as I think Prashant, thank you for this. Prashant has mentioned, please mention your contact details and we will arrange a personalized counseling session to answer your query. There are a couple of other questions also for me where people are saying they are from a different background. When I say different, I mean to say they are not from the IT background. For those people, whether it helps to get into a good college. I believe people with a background from in the medical domain, let's say doctors, people who are lawyers, people who have served in the, let's say, Indian Army, okay, those kind of people are definitely needed by the campus in order to maintain diversity. And it's not just to maintain diversity for the sake of it. These people definitely add a different flavor, different angle to the case studies as well. So I strongly believe people who are not coming from the usual background, they do have advantage in the admission process. Uh, I would like to understand from Anchal. Anchal, in who were doing MBA, were there people from altogether a different background? How was your experience?
Yeah, there were a lot of. I have a lot of friends. Few of them who are from different backgrounds. Few of them are from medical background. I know people who are from army background, and also from law. Um,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are two things. There are few. One, what do you want after the after your MBA? So few people wanted to just accelerate in the domain they were in. And the ISB certainly helped them to excel in what they were doing before. And for example, one person that I know was from a medical background and wanted to set up down the line his own his own company in the same domain. And ISB has provided that person with the right education, with the right background and contacts, of course, to do so. If you want to move entirely or switch entirely your domain, like if you are from law and you want to go into product, I think we have already talked about that. So uh, there you will have to walk additional miles to do so. That's not impossible. It's just you'll have to put in little more efforts than other. But overall, the batch, and I believe that's for all the colleges, is has diversity. So you will meet people who are from very different backgrounds that you would not have met before.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for that. I think overall we have 5 minutes more to work on the additional questions. I'll just quickly look at it. A few more questions. One of the question is out of ISB and IIMs, which one should prefer and why? Now, now I think it's a very confusing answer, a question. In fact, what should I answer there? It depends on a lot of factors. So rather than answering this question in this manner, I would like to ask you, because I'm sure, considering the score and the background you three panelists have, you must be getting confirmation from IIMs as well as ISP. So, Anchal, why you selected ISP? Ekta, again, same question for you. And for Ankur, why you went for IIM. So maybe we can start with Ekta. Why ISB?
So, one-year MBA course was still very new. And like I said, when I started my GMAT journey, I only wanted ISB. That's the only word that was, I think, that I ever spoke. It was just ISB and GMAT, ISB and GMAT, because I knew there's this one school that started this concept of one-year MBA, and which has had a success of maybe a number of years, 10 years or more, and has produced some alums. And there is I would always, so you go with a brand and you go with an older brand. And when I started the IIM 1-year course, it was very new. So I was like, if I'm doing it in India, it has to be ISB, because there is a brand value attached to it. There has been n number of years, so many students placed, so many companies that come. So that's the only, so I never considered anything else. Like for me, it was very clear that this is it.
Perfect. Ankur, you want to pitch in?
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, both these colleges are really good, right? It's like premier colleges. You will be satisfied no matter where you land. That's one. Then second point is, see, IMC unique propositions are, first of all, like they have the faculty which have been teaching there for last 40 years, 45 years. And these are like one of the best faculties. They have the experience of getting people through the MBAs, and then they have seen people excelling in their careers. They know people who have now become CEOs of the company. Also, at IMC, there was a smaller cohort as compared to ISB. So there was much more bonding in terms of smaller cohort, because everybody knows everybody. And there was so also in terms of electives, since you have a smaller cohort, you get this range of electives which you could choose from. It's not like you will have to have some pointer systems and you have to put so many points to get into electives. If you want to do these 4 electives, you will get it. It's not a like a matter of a chance or a luck. So these were few factors which distinguish IMC, and I made the decision.
Okay, thank you. Anshul, after a score of 760, you can say like all the colleges are open. Definitely, they will look for profile and interview. But in terms of the basic criteria, it's cleared for all the colleges. In fact, globally for multiple colleges. Why ISB?
Yeah, for US, I think I was not very sure, because there were a lot of things that were changing in US with, as Ikta said, with Trump coming in, and it was more expensive to do an MBA from US, and very few people get scholarship, and I was not getting scholarships, but I was getting admission, but I didn't want to take that risk, because after that 1 or 2 years, if I have to come back, it'll be a big loan on my head that will put pressure on me. For Europe, I did get into a few colleges with a good scholarship, but when I compared those colleges to the colleges in India, they were more or less the same. And then it was just about the country that I want to live in. So that's why I preferred India. So that's how I was sure that, okay, India, I want to be in. Then between ISBs and IIMs, I think all the colleges that are at par. It's just your personal your personal choices and your priorities. For me, I wanted to be with a bigger batch where the average experience is also around the experience that I have. And ISB was there from that perspective, and yeah, I mean, ISB has been for 1 year. MBA ISB has been there for a long period of time, so that's an additional security that I thought I'll get in uh, if I'll go to ISB, and yeah, I think these were the 3 things which were my priorities.
Okay. With this, although we have a lot of questions still open up, but in the interest of time, I think we will not be able to absorb all these. Maybe let me just see last 2 questions from here, and let me just look at it, because some of the questions are very specific. I think for those questions, it's better if you just drop your phone number we will get back to you, because in the interest of the larger audience, it is not very useful, but very important definitely for your profile. Even though none of us are coming with the background of YLP program offered by ISB, but what I understand, YLP act as a deferred program wherein people who are in the final year of graduation, they apply for it and they get a deferred admission after 2 years. So do you have any background to this, Ekta? Can you help us understand a bit more about YLP program in case you are rightly placed to answer this?
Yes, so like you rightly said that YLPs are candidates who get the offer from ISB in their last year, and then they're asked to asked to join ISB 2 years after getting the 2 years of work ex. But specifically, is there a very specific question about YLP?
I think there is a question which says what sort of scholarships are provided? What is can I go for YLP program? I think that's a very generic question again. Yeah, I think that's all about it. Let me just look at in case we have two more questions. Okay. Now many people have average academics, and they have just 2 years of experience working in the IT firm. In order to make their profile comparatively better in the eyes of recruiter, I think academics can be managed by a better just to showcase. But what other activities one can take in order to make their profile shine? Any one of you just unmute yourself and you can talk about it.
So I think I had really average academics, and but it never came in my way. I knew I need to get 700 plus GMAT. That has to be good. So that's what I targeted, and I knew I have to do something exceptional in my whatever work that I'm doing. So that's why although I did not target the MWC project that came in my way, but maybe you can do something else. So when I switched careers, I inherited my learnings from Ericsson, and I tried to improve something for this other organization where they gave me a reward for customer recognition. And that's really important. Like if you go to Amazon or almost every firm today wants a customer obsessed people. So please don't put, so a lot of people also put awards like there are some very small awards which Deloitte and Accenture have, and probably they give it every quarter. I'm not talking about those awards. These awards have to be really big, because that's how you have a proof that you've worked well and you are recognized in your firm. Otherwise I can write n number of things today and people may think that probably that's not correct. So you need to have some proof. You can give in a lot of numbers of the impact, but there has to be proof that you did something, you were rewarded for it. So look for those opportunities, create those opportunities, do something for the business that they recognize you.
Okay. Anshul, Ankur, would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah. So I think, see, there are a lot of ways you could diverse your profile. One, of course, is NGO, which I also kind of become a center head of Upaya NGO and did it. But don't do it for the sake of diversing your profile. NGO experience you should do only if you felt from the heart that you should give back to the society, and you feel that. So the good part is when I entered Upaya as a center head, not only it helped me in my profile, that's a secondary thing. The first thing that happened to me is I felt that there are a lot of underprivileged children in this society which exist. So that make me as a person more humble and more acceptable about the fact that we have a lot of opportunities which other persons does not have. So it gives you a sense of calmness and reason. That's one. The other thing is, of course, you could be exceptional in other things, right? For example, you could be a movie buff, you could be a sports buff, or you could mention all of these details. These details actually diversify your profile. These are like small things which we don't realize, but these actually diversify your profile.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you're talking about profile in terms of recruiters that during your MBA you will talk to, or the companies that you want to go to. If you are right now, if you're clear about those, so start doing the things that matter to those companies. For example, Amazon has its own principles. Lot of things are in Amazon. Customers are our priorities, so your resume can have those things, the principles that we follow. If you're going to a company like Microsoft, you might want to add few pointers in your resume which are related to the products that are built by Microsoft, that demonstrate that you understand the company. If you have a set role in your head, then you should try to do things that align to that role. So with respect to recruiting, you really have to see what the recruiters are looking for and start doing such kind of things so that they can eventually be added in your resume. For the college, as Ankur has already spoken about, apart from the academic and your work ex, get involved in something other than what is not your responsibility, but out of interest that you are taking up, so that it shows not just your professional self but also personally. It demonstrates what kind of person you are, and how will you help the schools. They will always, all the schools will have brilliant people, but apart from that, how are you going to help the schools? So you have to think from that perspective. It can be NGO related work, it can be something out of your interest, that you like art, you draw paintings, you sell them off, you write books, you write novels, you read them. It can be anything, but it should just show that you're contributing other than in acats.
Perfect. I think, Ankur, you talked about a very important point, that by heart you want to do something. Only highlight that. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. And Anchal and Ekta, you talked about like it can be a variety of things. I think that's important. It's not about going only to an NGO and showcasing how you care about the society. It's about whatever is coming organically and naturally to you. Focus on that. A lot of people wants to interact with you. You all maybe post this discussion also in case they have any follow-up query. So I think you people must be very active on social media platforms, in professional networking platform, in fact, right? So I leave it to all the attendees to first find it out, right? But I am posting my email ID in the chat box. So in case there is anything you are not able to find them, you can always write a note to me. I will direct your queries to these three people. Ankur has already shared the details. But are you people active? Anchal, Ekta, are you active on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I think we try to answer most of the questions. Definitely, there are few questions which are either repeating or these questions are very specific. So I suggest all the participants to please drop your phone number along with the questions. We will get back to you. In the interest of time, we try to cover as many questions as possible. So that brings us to closure to this discussion. Before we close this session, I would like to go back to each one of you and understand your last comments, your suggestion to people who are preparing for the GMAT exam, and suggestion for the people who are confused at this stage whether to go for MBA program or not. Maybe we can start with Ankur.
Sure, absolutely. So one thing is I wish you all the best for whatever you will decide. I know whichever way you go is the best way. All of you have reached in this webinar. That means you have some sort of interest in doing an MBA. And of course, I feel that you are all brilliant mind the way you have asked the questions. So evaluate your options, evaluate your opportunities, work hard on them, and I'm sure you will make it. And of course, you have all of experts available with you to ask anything for any help and anyone. All the best, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ankur. Ekta, anything from your side? Closing comments?
So one thing that I would want to tell people is like, have a plan and only then you'll be able to execute it. And the other thing, please don't be anxious. That's how I spoiled my first GMAT exam, because I was so anxious I didn't sleep and I slept in the second paper. So please take good quality of sleep, plan your exam well. But yeah, and Yeah, don't be anxious.
Okay, I think that's a very valid suggestion because I have, in fact, this is the only in your case, Ekta, when I got this kind of comment that someone was not able to do well because that person slept in the exam. I remember you slept in the verbal section. Yeah, but that's very interesting. But normally, what I have experienced is people are not able to sleep one day before the exam. Okay, there is a lot of nervousness, a lot of anxiety. Definitely, we need to manage that, plan it well, and you have all the flexibility available in the GMAT exam. So, of course, our focus is repeat it, but if it is needed, you always have the option to repeat the exam. Thanks, Ekta. Now I would like to go to Anchal, please.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all the best to everyone who's preparing. There's just two things. One, be sure that you really want to do an MBA. It's a big investment, time-wise, money-wise, effort-wise also. So you should really be sure that this is something that you want to do, and you're not doing it because you're bored of your job, or just because you want to do something. Second, um, prepare. You might be very well prepared for your exam when you take it, but it might not be your day. So it might so happen that your first attempt doesn't go as you have planned. Do not give up. I have a lot of people in my contact who gave up after the first attempt because they were demotivated. uh, don't do that ever. Just after the attempt, take a days or 2 days break and start studying again and prepare yourself. I mean, most all of us here, all three of us, have not done well in our first attempts. So it's not the end of the world. And GMAT is good in that sense because you can take the exam whenever you want. It's not like CAT that you're going to have to wait for the year. So yeah, all the best whenever you take the exam.
Thank you to Anchal, Ekta, and Ankur. I think it's indeed a pleasure to have you here. And I think you have, all of you have in detailed manner answered the queries of the students. Definitely, we will get back to you in case we get any specific question. Uh, it's really great honor to connect with all of you again, right? And I am able to still recall those days when you were as a participant in the classroom sessions, were confused, and I have seen you maybe mature to a level now that able to provide really thoughtful advice to our participants. I'm sure, like me, participants must have learned from your advice. Uh, we may disturb you in the future if there is any plan to conduct additional sessions. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. For all the participants, in case you have any follow-up query, I have put my email ID in the chat box. Please feel free to reach out to us or post your phone number. We will get back to you with respect to your query. We will like to answer it, but we planned this session till 7:30 only, so we have to close it now. With this note, we plan to continue interacting with you and continue to bring people who have successfully done MBA and are working really well in their own field. So thank you very much to all of us. Thank you very much and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prashant, are we good to close it now?
Yes, we're all right.
Perfect. Thank you,
Ending it.
Prashant. Thank you all. Thank you. All the very best for your GMAT.